Most people think money problems are about budgeting, discipline, or intelligence. They are wrong. The biggest factor controlling your financial life is your identity. Who you believe yourself to be. What your subconscious brain thinks is possible for someone like you. And this is what most financial advice never touches. You see, the brain doesn't think in numbers. It thinks in stories. It thinks in patterns. It thinks in identity. If your brain sees you as someone who struggles with money, that story becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. You don't even consciously notice it. Every decision you make reinforces it. Every purchase, every investment, every impulse, every delay in action, all of it becomes a chapter in the story your brain tells about who you are financially. And here's the shocking part. You can make all the right moves, follow the smartest advice, and still stay stuck if your identity isn't aligned with the life you want. Let me explain why. Your identity is a filter. It decides what's believable, acceptable, and achievable for you. It's like your brain's internal quality control system. If your identity says, "I'm not good with money," the brain automatically filters out behaviors, habits, and opportunities that don't match that story. You might hear advice. You might understand it logically. You might even want to follow it. But your identity says, "That's not me," and your subconscious will quietly push you back to familiar behavior. Here's an example. You get a raise. On paper, your financial situation improves instantly. But your identity hasn't caught up. Your subconscious still thinks, "I am the person who's always living paycheck to paycheck." The result? You unconsciously spend the extra money, sabotage your saving habits, or make riskier financial choices. And before you know it, your new income doesn't feel any different. Your life hasn't changed. That's the identity trap. It's invisible, silent, and powerful. It explains why people with high intelligence, discipline, or opportunity can still feel broke, because identity overrides logic. Now, here's a deeper truth. Identity isn't fixed. It's a set of patterns, beliefs, and internalized stories. And those stories mostly formed without your awareness, years ago, from childhood, family, culture, and environment. If your parents struggled financially, your brain learned patterns for survival, scarcity, and risk. Even if you have higher income, education, or knowledge, those early patterns remain active in the background. They quietly influence every financial choice. They shape your comfort zone. They dictate what feels normal or possible. That's why people can have millions in the bank and still feel like an imposter, or why some people earn a small income but act rich because their identity is aligned with abundance. Yes, identity literally trumps reality. It's not about how much you make, it's about who your brain thinks you are allowed to be financially. Here's the next critical piece. Your brain seeks identity, consistency, not financial growth. Every choice you make is subconsciously evaluated against your self-image. If saving $500 feels like "not who I am," your brain will reject it. If investing in your future feels "too big for me," your brain will sabotage it. If buying an expensive item feels "worthy of my identity," your brain will reward it. That's why people can resist obvious financial improvements. It's not laziness, it's self-consistency. Here's where it gets tricky. Identity operates below consciousness. You might rationally tell yourself, "I want to be wealthy, I want financial freedom." But your subconscious is still anchored in old identity patterns, and until those patterns update, your behavior will continue to follow the old story. This explains a lot: why people fail to stick to budgets, why they sabotage investments, why promotions, bonuses, or new income don't feel like progress, why money feels scary, stressful, or unmanageable even when you have plenty. Now, let's talk about how to escape this trap. Step 1. Awareness. Notice your financial behaviors and patterns. Pay attention to the internal story your brain tells. Do you think, "I'm just not good with money"? Do you believe, "People like me never get ahead"? Do you feel that wealth or financial freedom is something for other people, not you? Those are identity signals. Step 2. Challenge the story. Every time your behavior reflects the old identity, pause. Ask yourself, is this choice coming from my current goals or my past story about who I am? That question creates a conscious gap where you can intervene. Step 3. Build identity-compatible habits. Small actions shape identity faster than motivation. If you consistently act like someone who saves, invests, or plans ahead, your identity begins to shift. Behavior informs identity. Step 4. Visual reinforcement. Track progress visually. Savings balances, investment growth, spending logs. Your brain needs concrete proof that the new identity is real. Step 5. Emotional alignment. Attach pride, security, and confidence to new financial habits. Your brain will then reward consistency emotionally, not just financially. Once your identity catches up, everything changes. Income, investments, spending, they all start to align naturally with your new self-image. No constant willpower needed. No guilt. No shame. The identity trap is gone. Here's one more important point. Identity also explains why social comparisons derail finances. Humans naturally measure themselves against peers. If your identity is "I'm a person who can't save," seeing others spend doesn't bother you. If your identity is "I'm responsible with money," seeing peers overspend triggers a different reaction. You either feel proud, inspired, or detached. Identity governs your emotional reaction to financial stimuli more than numbers ever do. Now imagine combining identity alignment with environment design, automating savings, limiting spending triggers, reinforcing consistent financial habits. Your brain stops resisting. Behavior aligns with identity. Identity aligns with goals. Goals produce results. And that's the real power behind wealth psychology. Because most people try to fix money externally, more income, better investments, stricter budgets, but until they fix who they believe they are, the external changes rarely last. Now let's dive even deeper. Here's the truth most people never realize. Your identity isn't just personal. It's social. It's shaped by everyone around you. Friends, family, coworkers, social media, even random people you compare yourself to online. And your brain constantly asks, does this behavior match the person I appear to be to others? When you spend money, sometimes it's not even about the item itself. It's about signaling identity, buying a new gadget, upgrading your car, dining at a trendy restaurant. Each action whispers to your subconscious, this is who I am. Now imagine your income increases. You suddenly have more options. Your brain interprets this as a test of identity. Can you remain the same person? Or will the new money force a change in who you think you are? This is why lifestyle inflation happens automatically. You don't consciously decide to spend more. Your brain is protecting identity consistency. It's also why people resist investing, saving aggressively, or committing to long-term goals when their earnings rise. Because every new dollar challenges the old identity, and the old identity doesn't want to change. Here's a fascinating insight. Your brain experiences identity threat as stress, even when the change is positive. That's why financial growth can feel emotionally uncomfortable. You might feel restless, anxious, or even guilty when you save more, invest more, or increase your net worth. The paradox is clear. Growth feels threatening because it forces your brain to reconsider who you are. The way out of this trap is counterintuitive. You must design your identity first, then let your finances follow. Let me explain what that looks like in practice. Step 1. Define your financial identity explicitly. Write it down. Say it out loud. Picture it. Not, I want more money. Yes, I am a person who saves consistently, invests wisely, and builds wealth methodically. Step 2. Start small, but act consistently. Your brain trusts behavior more than words. Even tiny daily habits, automated savings, tracking expenses, reducing impulsive spending start reshaping identity. Step 3. Reinforce identity through visuals and metrics. Track progress. Watch balances grow. Celebrate milestones. Every visual proof signals to your brain, this new identity is real. It's safe. It's me. Step 4. Align social influence. Surround yourself with people, content, and environments that reinforce your financial identity. If your friends spend recklessly, your brain interprets that as the norm. If your peers value saving, investing, and thoughtful spending, your brain adopts that as the identity default. Step 5. Reframe setbacks as identity tests, not failures. Impulse spending or small financial mistakes are inevitable. Instead of guilt, ask, does this align with the person I am building myself to be? If yes, adjust. If no, course correct immediately. This turns discipline from a chore into a natural reflection of identity. Now let's add a subtle but powerful layer. Identity and emotion are inseparable from money. Every financial decision carries emotional weight. Money is more than currency. It represents freedom, security, self-expression, and social validation. When identity and emotion are aligned, decisions feel natural. When they are misaligned, decisions feel forced, stressful, and exhausting. Here's a real-world scenario. You plan to save $500 this month. Your brain expects comfort spending. You resist. Stress rises. Impulse grows. If you proceed purely by logic, you rely on discipline. Discipline eventually falters. If you proceed by reshaping your identity, I am the kind of person who saves automatically. Stress fades. Saving feels normal. Automatic. Effortless. That's the psychological switch most people never hit. Another invisible factor, identity and scarcity versus abundance mindset. Someone with a scarcity identity feels financial stress even at high income. Someone with an abundance identity can feel wealthy on modest income. It's not the numbers, it's the story, and stories are reinforced daily through habits, environment, and social influence. Finally, one of the most overlooked truths, identity compounds like money. Small, consistent habits, reinforced by identity alignment, accumulate over time. Impulse spending decreases. Savings grow. Investments gain traction. Confidence in financial decision-making strengthens. And all of this happens automatically, without relying on temporary motivation or willpower. This is why true financial transformation always begins inside the mind, not in spreadsheets, not in advice articles, not even in new income streams. It begins with the story you tell yourself about who you are financially and who you are allowed to become. In the next video, we will explore lifestyle inflation and income spikes. Why every time people earn more, their spending unconsciously expands, and how your identity secretly drives that behavior. Once you understand this, you'll see your finances and your decisions in an entirely new light, because the biggest financial breakthroughs happen when identity, behavior, and environment are all aligned.